Good morning and welcome. It is Sunday, the 22nd of May. I am Flatcap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Coming up today, we've got a real good go at the Sunday series at York. Some really great handicaps there and a couple at the Curragh. So we're having a right good old go. So I'm going to do stake and a half today. Two lucky 15s. I've got one lucky 31 as the big marquee bet of the day. And I've got some cross trebles. So that is coming up. Before I do that, we will do a review of yesterday. It worked for everybody yesterday. I've got it as 30 on, 33, 30 back, so we made a bit of a profit, but I think I lost a few in the middle, certainly, from what I could make out on YouTube, certainly. It started off really well. The first six horses, we had a win and winning three places out of six. And then I think we went seven or eight races where I got nothing, and it all looked like it was all going to taper off. Lost a few people along the way, I'm sure. But if you stay till the end of the bets, then we got over the line in the end. The last horse, Coins Cross, it was most bookies in terms of stakes. So let's have a little look. So we started off with Clinton, which went in, won nicely, 11-2 SP. Marvillo absolutely outran its odds. I think it ended up SPing at 25s. It was in a bunch finish. It was unlucky to not get placed. And then the next two weren't very good. So he only ended up getting the win single there. So that was disappointing. This was the have a little go bet. And the only one that ran well really was Wings of War, placed at 12-1, but it was on its own. So we had a place on its own there. So it starts looking like, it's going to be one of them days. This is the bet that got a bit torn off yesterday when I pulled it off. Aovis Maggie placed. Hyana was close. The other two weren't. So it all looked to be going down the tubes. But fortunately, we had this bet lined up near the end of the day. Imperial Fighter in the 2000 Irish Guineas ran a great race, placed at 28-1. Then we had Bellevue Lad, was unlucky. It was fifth. Fourth would have been good for Sky or 365. It would have been three for everybody else. So it wasn't far off. Then Danzan placed. That was backed in quite a bit. And it was 9-1 SP. And then Coins Cross 13-2 placed sixth, which was good enough for, I can't remember, I wrote it out last night. Sky, 365, Betfred, Hills, maybe. There was about four major bookmakers it was all right for. I may have got that wrong. I can't remember off the top of my head on that one. So we got over the line with a bit of profit, and we still have this bet in run. So we did the Guineas double bet. So Imperial Fighter at 28 was best price guaranteed. Most people should have that. That's 28 rolling onto Concert Hall. So if Concert Hall places today, it's worth about 11 quid. If you did the same stake. So we've got that little one going on to Concert Hall for today. So before I get into today's bets, I just wanted to sort of highlight something to you about, in terms of which bookmakers are best. Today is definitely a Sky bookmaker best day. If you've got the option to use any bookmaker with these bets that I've got today, use Sky. It's all about the extra places. So hopefully this is going to make sense. So I jotted this down last night. So I've got the three decent races at the Curragh for extra places and the five best at York. And in blue here is the average amount of places that the major bookmakers are playing on those races. In green, we've got where bookmakers are paying extra than that. And in pink, we've got where bookmakers are paying less. So if you go that through, 210... it's all the same apart from Ladbrokes are one less. 345 there at Curragh. Sky are one more than anyone else. Paddy are one less. 420. Sky and Paddy are one more. Ladbrokes are less. And then you go through the York races. Sky are one extra on all of those races. There's a couple 365 are extra and one that Betfair are extra. There's three that Ladbrokes are worse off with, two that Coral worse off with, and then one that Betfred and William Hill are worse off with. So it may have chopped and changed around from last night, but that's what it was like last night. So of those 8 best races, 7 of them, Sky, you're getting an extra place. They are probably the only bookmaker you're not getting best price guarantee on, so you're sacrificing that. But this is how it would rank today. So if I'm shopping around on bookmakers, which I certainly will be today, Sky, if you've got a Sky Bet account, then that is by far and away the best place to put your bets on today, specifically today. Most days I would say it is, specifically today for those extra places. Bet365 come out second today, then Betfair third, Paddy fourth, Betfred fifth, Hill sixth, Coral seventh, and massively last, as often is the case of the big bookies, Ladbrokes are really not a good bookmaker for extra places. So if you're out on the high street, I would not go put your bets on at Ladbrokes. You're better off further up this ranking table for today. But it's usually the case of the big bookies, Ladbrokes are not so good for extra places. Hopefully that is helpful and it makes sense to you. We'll get into today's bets. So start off with, we've got bet 1, Lucky 15. So we've got 2 races here a bit earlier that are not the main races. So in total, I've got 9 races, 13 horses. That's all we've got. 9 races, 13 horses, but I've done quite a bit of stake. So 210 the Curragh. We only got 1 horse there. Count to 5, 17 to 2. And then this is the Grand Steeplechase to Paris. So it's a 3 o'clock at Auteuil. Depending on which online, if you're online bookie, you'll need to scroll down quite a bit to find the Auteuil race. So it's Franco de Port. It's one of Mullins. He's got 3 in the race, and we took it in the Irish National. We're going to give it another go today because it didn't run so well there. Franco de Port, 10s. And then in the 1,000 guineas in Ireland, we've got Concert Hall, which has got the other bet still. We're going to put that in there. And then we're putting in as the 4th leg, Hot Diggity Dog, 33 to 1 in the 4.35 at York. Straightforward, 20p each way, Lucky 15. What I would say today is more than a lot of days, the strategy is definitely higher risk. And not because of necessarily the selections, but the way I'm doing the bets. If you wanted lower risk today, you'd be doing much more singles and much more just playing it as doubles. I've got going accumulators and trebles across the board for a lot of this, and that is higher risk. That means we can come back with not very much of our £30, but it also means if it goes well, we can obviously do very well. So, moving on to the main bet of the day. I don't do these very often because statistically, Lucky 15s are better than Lucky 31s. But I thought it's a decent enough day. There's more than 5 good handicaps, but these are my sort of 5 best choices for the handicaps, and I'll put it together because, yeah, if you can get at least 5 place, if you can get 5 place in, you're into a really nice return without even a horse winning. But if any of them, a couple of winners in this bet, then we're laughing. So this is where we're going with it. 3:30 York, Paramaribo 18s is the only horse I've got in that race. I like it. It was 25s last night. It's been nibbled in. 4:20 the Curragh, Moss Tucker 17 to 2. That's been nibbled in as well. So those are the only ones in those top 2 races I've got. And then a lot of my stake for the rest of the bets you'll see is going on these 3 races split. Global Spirit, I'm a little worried about that one. It's 25s and it was about half of that last night. And that makes me feel like there's something a bit awry with that horse. So normally when a horse plummets really, really quickly, it often means there's some insider knowledge saying there's a problem or it might be near to being withdrawn. So I'm hoping it runs because at the moment that price looks brilliant. So Global Spirit 25s, and we've got 5:35 York Azza Jamira 14s, and then the 5x6 10 Tenacious 14 to 1. So we've got there a 20p each way Lucky 31. And then we're doing on the top 2, because it's the only ones I've got in those races, we're doing it as a 30p each way double and 2 45p each way singles. That is 14.80 that'll come out as. That is bet 2. Okay. Then bet 3 is the cross trebles. Again, if you wanted to play this less risk, you might want to do doubles. I'm going risky-o today with the betting, so we're doing it as trebles only. So we need at least one in each race to place in order to get a return on this bet. 2 placing or 2 winners is not good enough for this specific bet. So we've got 5:05 York, Global Spirit and Honour Session, 5:35 York, Azza Jamira and Cotton Lane, and the 6:05 10 Tenacious and Indianapolis in there. So that is 8 cross 20p each way trebles, £3.20 a bet. And then finally, the second Lucky 15, all at York, 4:35 Westmorian 18s, 5:05 Honour Session 15-2, 5:35 Cottam Lane 16s, and 6:05 Indianapolis 50s. That horse, I also want to mention that horse. Last year's form, that horse is so well in, it's unreal. There's a lot of really unexposed horses at the top of the market, definitely, which is why it's pushing it down. But last time out, it ran absolutely terribly, first time out. But that was at Chester, and history says it doesn't like Chester. The time before that was the last run at the end of the season, and it didn't run well, and it doesn't normally run well at the end of the season. So I'm taking a chance there that if that bounces back to any sort of form, and Ian Williams only got one in that race, he likes horses that are stayers, that's his specialty. He's only sending one horse to York today, and it's Ben Sanderson, which is his apprentice, is on it. He's in decent enough form. So he's only got one in the race. He'd normally send a couple of darts at that kind of race. So I'm really hoping that I might be onto a nice thing with that one that runs a lot better. But form suggests and price suggests it will come quite tailed off last because it's lost its way. But if it bounces back, it could be a nice price, that one. Right, that is it. And then the golf, not great really, to be honest. So the main situation we've got in the singles bet is Davis Riley. So if Davis Riley does finish placed, outright placed, that is enough to make it a profitable week on the golf on its own. But he's stumbling a bit, and he was tied 10th at the moment. So if he's outright placed, that is enough on its own. The way that did the staking plan, that we make profit. The other thing to keep an eye on that people may have kind of gone past is in the Lucky 15. That bet is look like it's absolutely sunk, which it is in terms of making a profit. But Charles Schwartzel is one of only 4 South Africans left in the tournament, and he is one of 3 of them that are on 7 over, and the other is on 8 over. So although he looks like he's really down the field, there is no South Africans that have performed well this weekend. So it's an each way dogfight there. But if he actually comes out as top South African today, miraculously, of those 4 of them, then if you've got a bookmaker that pays double the odds for a win only, you'll get half your money back for the Lucky 15. If you just got one that pays straight odds for a win only, then if he does come out top South African, you get a third back. So it's not all lost in the Lucky 15. Can't make profit, but we can get a couple of quid back off that. So I just wanted to flag because it will probably bypass most people. I hadn't really realised, to be honest, how many South Africans have made the cut, and then I suddenly looked and went, yeah, he's 7 over, but he's tied best South African at 7 over. So that is what I've got. Any questions, as usual, shove it in the comments. And again, I just want to say I really appreciate, because like I said, yesterday I lost a few people along the way. I know I did. And it's not for everyone. So I really appreciate everybody who likes the videos, who subscribe to the channel, but also those of you who take the time to comment, because it's just massively appreciated that people are taking a moment of their time to write a comment to say thanks or whatever it might be. I do really, really appreciate all of those comments. So thank you very much. Let's hope we've got Super Sunday on the Super Sunday series. All bar the first 2 races of the first Lucky 15 are on normal ITV racing for those of you who can access that. So should be a nice little chunk of the afternoon if you want to put your feet up and watch the racing, if you've got that opportunity. Okay, see you in the morning. Thanks very much. Cheerio.